Hi, I'm Megan Stromberg with the American Planning Association and Planning Magazine, as well as Broadcast APA. I'm here at the Federal Policy and Program Briefing in Washington, D.C., talking with Robin Rather. Robin is the CEO of Collective Strength in Austin, Texas. It's a firm that specializes in stakeholder outreach, public policy, and communications. Thanks a lot for joining me.
Great to be here.
You're here in part to talk to planners about how they can counter critics of planning and build support for planning in their communities. Tell me a little bit about how the challenge is different these days.
Well, I would put it simply by saying there's a different kind of emotional intensity right now. There are so many people that are fearful about the job situation, the economic situation, people really angry at Wall Street and the bank bailout and how that played out. There's a lot of frustration, with this administration. And so part of what's happening, on top of a very, very severe fiscal and budget crisis that is, really wiping out entire programs that planners have depended on, there is an emotional side among the general public that has to be dealt to in a different way. That really is unprecedented, I think, in the last 30 or 40 years. And that's what a lot of people have to adapt to and get better at. Okay.
There's been a lot of criticism of planning lately. What are the tactics that critics are using, and what are they saying?
Well, first of all, I think we need to point out that I think the attacks are coming more frequently and with more pain because planners have been succeeding. The idea of sustainable communities has really taken off in place after place. Comprehensive planning is really catching on around the country, and so success sometimes breeds antagonism from people who have a vested interest in seeing that things don't change. So I want to really make sure people understand this is happening partly because we've done a great job over the past 10 or 15 years and have a fair amount of momentum, and so there are plenty of folks right now that are trying to stop that momentum in its tracks.
Do planners need to frame planning in a different way?
Absolutely. I think one of the main points in the talk that I'm giving here is I really believe the era of smart growth and the sprawl wars, land use and transportation discussions, that's done. That's over with. And people need to really recognize that, bury it, and get on with what is very relevant right now, which is framing planning in what can planning do to create jobs, what can planning do to save governments money, what can planning do that helps grow the economy and helps move communities forward. That's the critical frame.
What's next for APA and planning? I know that you're working with leadership on different communication strategies.
Right. Well, we're also working on some training strategies. The fact of the matter is that some planners have a terrific background in job creation and economic development, but not all. And so bridging traditional planning skills with really understanding how do plans and placemaking affect jobs, especially jobs for the hardcore unemployed. That's a critical topic right now, one that we're trying to address. But I also think the APA has an opportunity now to really frame the whole profession in a different way, in a more relevant way, in a way that says, you know what, if you don't have planning, you can't have economic recovery. They two go hand in hand. And that's what we're working to create.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for joining us.
Well, great to be with you.